We have new comments from the AG who brought the civil fraud case that can jeopardize Donald Trump's New York business empire. New York's Attorney General Letitia James saying she's prepared to seize Trump's assets in order to fulfill the more than $350 million fine issued against Donald Trump.
If he does not have funds to pay off the judgment, then we will seek, judgment enforcement mechanisms in court, and we will ask the judge to seize his assets.
Joining me now is Charles Coleman, a former prosecutor, civil rights attorney, and an NBC News legal analyst. Charles, thanks for joining us on this. Appreciate it. I'm just wondering here, and I'm not quite sure if this is what she meant, but she can't necessarily go after his assets if he's in the midst of an appeal. This is if he can't secure an appeal bond, right?
That is correct. He is going to have to try and stave this off as best he can. But please understand that Letitia James is extremely clear. There are essentially three elements to a civil trial. First, you want to prove liability. Then you want to establish damages. And after you get your judgment, you want to be able to collect. And so Letitia James understands very clearly that this is an important part of the overall puzzle. And everything that she's done and her office has done thus far doesn't mean anything if she doesn't actually get the damages that she has been awarded. And so she is going to fight doggedly for this, but it will take some time because, as you said, with respect to Donald Trump seeking an appeal and then also having to issue an appeal bond, this could be an arduous process.
So I want to talk about two of the decisions that we were awaiting from the Supreme Court today that ended up not coming out, one of which was the Colorado case. And I want to talk about the potential for this ruling, when we could get it, and how do you think it's actually going to land? I'm sure you took a listen to some of the oral arguments, and it seemed as if the majority of the Supreme Court was on the side of allowing the former president to remain on the Colorado ballot. What was your takeaway from that, and what do you expect timing-wise?
Well, Yasmin, I do think that the Supreme Court ultimately is going to side in terms of giving Donald Trump an opportunity to be on the ballot. I think that the Supreme Court justices are also aware of what they are essentially unleashing on the electorate by allowing Donald Trump to remain on the ballot. And I think they take that very seriously. That being said, I believe that they are crafting a decision that's going to give a certain level of guidance to eliminate a lot of confusion without necessarily tipping their hand in any way, shape, or form that speaks on or comments around Donald Trump's other criminal matters or civil matters as they relate to his fitness to be president. I think that there is an important line that they are towing in terms of doing what needs to be around the Constitution and Donald Trump's constitutional rights, and then also respecting the fact that they are not trying to be political in this moment. I think they understand the gravity of what it is to get involved in that way, and so they're trying to write an opinion that avoids all of that, but also eliminates any sort of confusion or back and forth for future states such that they won't see this issue surface again, at least not in this session of the Supreme Court.